Now, this past weekend was full of action and a fair bit of drama, whether it be on the soccer field, the racing track, the rugby or cricket fields. Sports fans really had plenty of sport to feast their eyes on. Now, to talk to us about this, we have a man who wears many hats, and that is none other than the award-winning journalist who is also commentator and analyst, Khanyiso Tshwaku. Good morning, Khanyiso. Thank you for joining us once again on Sports on Morning Live.
Good morning, Vin. Good morning to the viewers.
Let's start and speak about Carling knockout action, because we got to see an Orlando Pirates side suffering a 3-2 loss against Magesi, which was somewhat of a shock result for many, but also starting off the round of 16 was Stellenbosch securing a victory against AmaZulu to continue in their title defense.
A colleague actually pointed out that Pirates have not won more than 7 games on the road since 2004. And probably then Magesi shut the door on Pirates' campaign. And also, this is a tournament that Pirates have particularly struggled with. They've only won it once, and actually getting past the first round has been a bit of a mission for them. But I think also they're at a bit of a tail end of their recent good start to the season. So probably this has been a great wake-up call for them. Stellenbosch FC actually have played some really good football. They needed to be resilient without being pretty on Friday. But the interesting part is that I think 27 goals were scored across the 8 games. Obviously, Sundowns' 5-0 win over Golden Arrows being a significant contributor to that, along with Kaizer Chiefs' 4-0 win over Sport United, which is probably the biggest surprise result of the weekend. The joy, though, with the fact that Sundowns have drawn Chiefs in the quarterfinals is that if you look at the scheme of the domestic season, there hasn't been a big game left in the season. Remember that the next league big game is Pirates Sundowns on the 11th of January. So at least what this draw has done has given fans significantly something to look forward to from a big game perspective next month. I think, if I'm not mistaken, the quarterfinals will be early next month before the FIFA break. So what the draw has cooked up a very big game, a game that won't be sold out without any equivocation. But again, I mean, also looking at the rest of the games, example for that, now only one of the games actually went extra time, that being the TS Galaxy versus Chipper game, where TS Galaxy survived 2 red cards to actually go and win that game. But again, it was a very good and exciting round of football.
Indeed, let's also speak to perhaps some of those other fixtures that have been drawn for the quarterfinals. We've got a TS Galaxy that will now go up against Magesi. I mean, we saw Galaxy struggling to actually find a goal in that encounter, going all the way into extra time, as well as Maruma Gallants taking on the defending champions.
It's going to be interesting games, because I think also these are teams who identify this tournament as probably as a tournament that all of them can win, especially now with Pirates out of the race. So that means there will be, we can't say there will be a fresh winner, because there's still a significant matter of Sundowns, who won what was then the last Telkom Knockout Cup. We've also got the defending champions, Stellenbosch FC. But I think because that only Betway Premiership teams play in this particular tournament, there's less of a booby trap. You'd find in a Nedbank Cup, for example, that you may meet in Motsepe Foundation Championship or ABC Motsepe Foundation, AP Motsepe League side, who have everything to gain and nothing to lose, and just make a team's life difficult. So I think when you look at Maruma Gallants versus Stellenbosch again have to travel for a game, but I think they've mastered an art of winning on the road. TS Galaxy again, they're at home to Magesi. Probably they'll want to be a bit more effective in front of goal. I think Richards Bay and Cape Town City will be quite interesting, in that Richards Bay are a goal-shy team, but they're a team that just know that in a cup game, you only really need 1 goal to proceed. But then Cape Town City were very impressive against, one is quite a weak Royal AM side, but they actually made sure that they put some distance between them and Royal AM. But this trip to Durban won't be an easy one for Cape Town City.
I want to move on now and talk about the T20 ICC Women's World Cup, because we saw our Proteas once again making it all the way to the final, as they did last year, and unfortunately just stumbling in that final against New Zealand. What were your thoughts on that encounter?
It was a game too far. A game too far. They probably played their best game in the semi-final. And the problem, I mean, we've seen it across tournaments where a team has a stirring semi-final win, but they're just unable to put it together in the final. So I remember one of the biggest examples, it was a 1999 Rugby World Cup where France played the game of their lives against New Zealand in the semi-final, simply couldn't rock up. In the final against New Zealand, I think against Australia, I think this was the same case where one, I think, despite the historical nature of of Dubai, where it's been always friendly to chasing sides, I think there was a slight error in the toss. Because South Africa should have actually won the toss, batted first, and actually put runs on the board, and then actually try deep. And remember that even against Australia, when they lost in that final in Cape Town, they were the chasing side. So I mean, look, it was very fortunate that they lost that game. But look, when you look at where they were this time last year to where they are now to play in the final, look at New Zealand, for example. They lost 10 consecutive T20 games leading into the tournament. But when it mattered in the tournament, they played their best cricket. And I think, again, so the example that what happens in terms of your form outside of a tournament doesn't truly matter, but matters what you do in a tournament. I think this is the true example from both sides. But I think this is a golden opportunity. I wouldn't say that let slip, but I think there was a chance to win the tournament. It just been slipped. But then again, there is an opportunity to build towards the next two ICC tournaments, because it's clear there is a core that South Africa, through Dylan Dupree, can actually build towards.
Indeed, they can. Khanyiso, always a pleasure chatting to you, and thank you for your time this morning.
It's a pleasure.
That is, of course, Khanyiso Tshwaku, award-winning sports journalist, analyst, as well as commentator, speaking in terms of what we've seen in this weekend in terms of your sports. That's where we'll wrap it up for now.